Let's pray. My name is Kerry Robertson. I'm from Robertson County, and I'm honored to be the first of many speeches tonight. I want to start by talking about the heroes of our country, the people who made our country great, the people like Ronald Reagan. And these were people who were framed by the values of faith, family, and freedom. With their faith in God, God blessed this nation. They had a belief in family, and they knew that traditional families made for strong communities, and strong communities would make for a strong nation. And they loved freedom. They were willing to give our lives for the Constitution. And today, as we think about faith, family, and freedom, those values are under assault by the liberals. And you may be discouraged by that. You may be ready to give up. You may be losing hope. But I'm encouraged by this because the assault on our values has stirred a sleeping giant. And that sleeping giant is quite a sleeping giant. And all across America, at places just like this, conservatives who value faith, family, and freedom have gathered together with a plan to take back America, because we don't want Barack Obama's America. We don't want Nancy Pelosi's vision of America. We want the vision of our founding fathers. We want the vision of Ronald Reagan. We want the shining city over here. And so tonight, as we gather here together, we're starting the beginning of something historically significant, because we are taking back America, and this is the epicenter of that movement. As we take back a seat that Bart Gordon has held for 25 years, we're beginning a revolution. And this is a battle that we're fighting, and the shot that's fired in this race is a shot that's going to be heard around the world. And so each one of you in this room, you're part of history. You're on the front line. And we're starting a new revolution, and that's why I am encouraged. 20 years ago, I left a career as a certified public accountant to pursue my American dream, and I opened a bicycle shop. And at first it was great. It was everything that I had hoped for. But within a few years, we were broke and on the verge of bankruptcy. My wife and I made the commitment not to declare bankruptcy. And despite the fact that we had one child and she was pregnant with her second child, we made the commitment to do what it would take to overcome the situation that we were in. And working sometimes 2 and 3 jobs, we were able to overcome. And by the grace of God, I'm happy to tell you that tonight we're in the middle of a record-breaking April for our bike stores. And it's a wonderful thing. Now, along the way, I was elected by my peers as president of the National Bicycle Dealers Association, then later chairman of that organization, and that's given me an opportunity to share the story, what I call our survival story, with literally hundreds of small business owners around the world. Now, as we look at the experience that we had, it's very relevant to today, because as I look at what's going on in our country, America is broke and on the verge of bankruptcy. You know, our family of 5, my wife and my 3 children, when we add up all the debt that politicians have laid on our families, we're $250,000 in debt. And this is not money that we spent. This is not money that you spent. This is money that politicians spent. And they have put our country in a very precarious place. And to solve this problem, we need to stop digging. We need to realize that you don't solve a spending problem with more spending, and you don't solve a debt problem with more debt. And my position is you're not going to solve a problem caused by politicians by sending more politicians to Washington. We need to send business people to Washington. And we don't just need to send business people to Washington who share our values of faith, family, and freedom, but we need to send business people who have been in the trenches and who have fought the fight. Each one of you is a stakeholder in the future of America, and you have the privilege in America of electing one person to this incredible board of directors for this country. And I believe that with my background as a certified public accountant, as a business owner, as someone who's got national and international business experience, but more important, someone who has been in the trenches and who's had to overcome tough times, I'd like to believe that I'm your best choice. Now, I want to tell you one final thing in closing. We all love the story of the Bible of the prodigal son. And the reason we love that story is it's a story of redemption. No matter what that young man did, he was able to go home to his father. And his father ran to greet him, and he threw his arms around him, and he called for a celebration. I believe that could be a story of a nation. We may have lost our way, we may have squandered our blessings, but I believe with all my heart, if we turn our hearts back to God, God will run to greet us, and He can bless us beyond measure. My name is Kerry Roberts. Thank you for your attention tonight. I hope that you'll vote for me on August 5th.